Happy Sunday, everyone. Welcome to Our Issues Birmingham. Today's guest is David Fleming. He's the CEO, I think is the right title, of Rev Birmingham. And you may not know what Rev Birmingham is, but he's going to tell us. So welcome to our show, David.
Very glad to be here with you.
So what is Rev and what does Rev mean? What does it stand for? It stands for something.
Well, Rev Birmingham is a nonprofit organization whose mission is creating vibrant commercial districts in downtown Birmingham. And we also at times work in some of the neighborhoods like Woodlawn. And right now it's largely downtown and Woodlawn. But really our focus on the city center is about giving us a strong, vibrant, healthy, economically vibrant downtown area. And Rev Birmingham actually was the result of a merger 10 years ago, this year, between Operation New Birmingham, which is for a long time focused on downtown, and then Main Street Birmingham, which is focusing on the neighborhoods. And we said, let's bring us together and create a stronger organization that way. And so we rebranded. We couldn't call ourselves one or the other anymore, and we rebranded as Rev Birmingham.
Which stands for?
Rev really stands for whatever you want, Tommy. It's not three letters that stand for something. When we rebranded, we thought we needed a name that talked about motion, excitement, forward progress, and Rev gave us a sense of that. And bankers hear revenue, and some people hear revitalization, some people hear revolution, and even lots of those things in it. So it's really a term.
I hear me starting my Vespa and revving it up.
That's right. So it is all about that kind of energy and motion.
Oh, that's interesting. I never knew that. I thought it stood for like revitalization, blah, 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 blah. But no. So you're located physically in the Woodlawn area?
That is our
offices are?
We own several buildings there. Over time, we have bought some of those commercial buildings to try to put businesses in them that support the community and draw people there. So that's where our office is. But we work in the greater downtown area, from 5 Points South all the way up to the Civic Center and everywhere in between.
Were you with one of those two organizations prior to?
I was. I'm actually a Birmingham native. I grew up technically in Bessemer. And
well, welcome to, this is a room full of West Side people.
Great.
I'm a West End boy.
Yeah.
We have Hueytown represented here.
Fantastic. Well, great people come from the West Side. So I grew up, and I've always loved Birmingham, and just got into this sort of economic development role. And I worked for Operation New Birmingham. And then I started Main Street Birmingham in 2004, and then we ended up merging together.
So what projects are you working on as we speak?
Well, we work around a lot of different areas. There's not one thing you can do to revitalize a place. You have to work on several different fronts at the same time. So we work on creating great experiences. We work on really working on support businesses and developers. And then we work on the physical realm, creating a great physical realm for people. So an example of something we've been working on this year has been a plan to revitalize and bring a new vision, new life to Lynn Park, our city's oldest park, right in the center. Earlier this year, we completed a plan that refreshed 20th Street. You may know back in the 70s, our city founders then put together a revitalized green, Birmingham green.
Right.
Well, it had gotten kind of tired. And it was time to refresh it. And so we put together a plan with the city to refresh that. And then on the north side of Lynn Park, City Walk is open. And so that left Lynn Park needing a real plan. So we've worked on that with the city and with the Community Foundation and Friends of Lynn Park to come up with a plan that we will be able to roll out early next year and hopefully get some investment in that. So that's an example of an initiative that's really important because people have to have confidence in the public realm if they're going to be in a downtown.
I know they did the Christmas tree lighting recently in Lynn Park, and they had 2,000 or 3,000 people.
There were a lot of people there, and that is the thing that our community engagement around that project really told us, is that people want that to be a civic green, a civic space that draws people together for events that we all can enjoy in common. That's what they really want to see in that space. And so we need to have more intentionality around that going forward.
Well, obviously, to do these things takes money.
Right.
So where does the funding come from? We may not be able to cover that in this segment, but if we can, we will.
Well, there's funding for REV, but then there's funding for the projects that we try to do, and those are two separate things somewhat. REV is a private nonprofit that is supported largely by private contributions from major funders, major businesses. Very little city money goes into our budget. And then we manage things like our CAP program and other programs that bring revenue and seek grants. Projects like a Lynn Park project or a 20th Street project are usually projects where we find public-private partnerships. There's some city money, some county money, and then some private money put together. And that's a lot of what we have to do whenever we're thinking of some great thing, is how do we bring people together with their resources to make something better happen?
I'm assuming that City Walk was a boost for Rev in terms of being able to parlay off of that into something else.
In fact,
we had Tony Dennis on recently. It seems like a really great space.
Well, going back many years, almost 10 years ago, when it was first announced that the interstate was going to be rebuilt, the concern for me and several of us was what happens underneath the interstate. We actually put together a vision for that using friends with the BJCC and some of the other neighbors. We said, what could it look like under that? And it was that idea that led to ALDOT and the feds and everybody saying, okay, we need to do that on a grand scale. And so I like to think we maybe seeded that idea, but everybody else ran with it and made it happen. And it is now a very popular space.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
One of our pet peeves, at least mine on this show for years, was to light up Sloss Furnace.
Mm-hmm.
And imagine my surprise when out of the blue one night somebody sent me a picture of Sloss Furnace being lit up.
Lit up, I know.
It's going on all over the country, all over the world really. I go to places and nighttime is very vibrant. But hold that thought. We'll talk whatever you're about to say. We'll say it when you come back. We're going to take a short break. This is Our Issues Birmingham. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Our Issues Birmingham. We're talking about revitalization of Birmingham and making it lively and a place you want to go at nighttime, which for years it was ghost town down there, and it's not anymore. But I mentioned right before break about Sloss and lighting up Sloss. So were y'all involved in that project?
No, but we have done a lot with lighting over the years, and that's what I wanted to sort of hit on, is that we several years ago were the ones that brought the multicolored light tunnels.
Oh yeah,
those
are great.
Happen, which inspired lighting in other places, and really shows the value of lighting at night, and not just lighting, but light. One of the things that we have to really invest in our city is the authenticity of Birmingham. We don't need to try to become something we're not.
Exactly.
We have a lot to sell, and so highlighting that, something like lighting up Sloss so that at night it really stands out as one of our assets, and it's something nobody else has. I think that's really important for economic development. A lot of people don't think about that as an economic development reality, but it really is. I can tell you how many people come to Birmingham from somewhere else, and they are just blown away by the historic buildings in downtown that we haven't razed and torn down like so many other cities. And there is this sense of place that is very powerful and very attractive. And so investing in things like Sloss and other historic assets and really featuring them with lighting or something else is really, I think, an important strategy.
What's on the horizon? Do we have?
Coming forward?
Yeah. What's glowing at your feet right now?
Well, several things
that
are
you can
important
talk
to us.
about.
Well, one big objective for us is, in trying to grow downtown and keep downtown strong, we have to think about the transformation of the economy. And what used to be driving downtown in employment base 10 years ago or 20 years ago is no longer the future of employment. Those kinds of jobs are not the future, but a lot of innovation jobs and such are really important. So really driving forward a true innovation district growth. The area around the Innovation Depot can be a true calling card, an asset for our city. and we are working on a plan to sort of expand that beyond just the Innovation Depot, but the whole area around that, and create buildings that are filled with innovation companies of a variety of sorts, along with the amenities and the neighborhood life that really make it attractive. Because, Tommy, we have to create the kind of place that the workforce of the future wants to live in and want to be in. And a vibrant downtown is critical to that. If our downtown is not as vibrant as the next region's downtown, people see that, and they're picking places they want to live more than they're picking jobs, because especially in today's remote environment, people can live anywhere and work anywhere. We want them to choose to live in Birmingham because they see the quality of life that we have.
Yeah, I think we do have a lot of unleased office space these days, which because people are not working as they traditionally worked before COVID.
But what's different about downtown today than it would have been 10 years ago is that we have seen a growth, 40% growth in the number of residents downtown since 2010. We're about 13,000 people that live in the downtown area now, and a lot more restaurants and bars that are the best ones in the city are there and are attracting people. It's interesting, you said earlier, we used to be just kind of a 9 to 5 downtown. Well, we've kind of flipped and become a 5 to 9 downtown. If you're downtown, First Avenue, Second Avenue North, anywhere from 5 to 9, there are people everywhere, which wouldn't have been the case, a few years ago.
No.
And so it's become an exciting place to be. And then you add the amenities around Railroad Park and the Regent Field, and there's just a whole different vibe downtown, and that keeps the vibrancy going.
What about, I know people are concerned about security. So, and I know that Rev is involved with CAP. I think that's what it's called.
Correct.
Give us a comfort level there that you can talk about regarding people that want to come downtown or hesitant to come out of the suburb and into downtown to participate in the restaurant scene or whatever is going on.
Well, we know statistically that crime is low downtown, and often it is a misperception that it is dangerous downtown. And honestly, the more people that are downtown, the more you feel safe. And so I would say, the more people that are coming and enjoying the downtown, the better. We do have an extra supplemental security force, the CAP program you spoke of. It really is there. Those ambassadors walk around, keep an eye on things. And we do have a homeless population downtown that our whole community needs to be compassionate about and try to better help. But that team is trained to help them as well, help people move along into better services and things like that. So it's all part of the greater community. But just statistically, you shouldn't worry about being a victim of crime in downtown. It just is not happening.
What does CAP do? What do they do to help?
Well,
for those that don't know what they are dressed with red vests.
Well, they used to be red. We've changed to blue. We've rebranded them. So they have blue hats and shirts, and they are officially there to help keep downtown clean and safe. So they do a lot of things from graffiti removal to picking up trash and doing those things to help make it clean. But in the process, they're trained to keep their eyes out for those safety concerns. If there is someone who appears to be a bad actor or something's going on, that they can help mitigate or break up. But we call them ambassadors because that's really who they are. They're not officers. They're people who are there to help you. If you are wanting to know how to get somewhere, they should be able to help you. You can approach them and they will tell you how to get somewhere. And then they also go into the downtown businesses and try to help them out with their issues. So they're there to help make the whole place cleaner and safer.
We're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back to discuss some other items related to Rev Birmingham. Don't go away. So there are a lot of people that feel that Woodlawn may be a little bit fringy or they don't want to venture out. I have ventured out and I like it over there.
Great.
So dispel that for our viewing audience and tell them it's okay, it's nice, it's fun, there's things to do.
Sure. Woodlawn is one of those neighborhoods that experienced probably 40 years of disinvestment, but has turned around and turned a corner and is experiencing reinvestment now, and has got a lot of catching up to do. But the reality is there's a really vibrant community, particularly business community in Woodlawn. We've had 16 new businesses open in Woodlawn in the last year and a half, wow. And that includes people that are doing new bars and restaurants to even just small local vendors.
I think you've got a few law offices out
and there are. I mean, it's a real mix of a community, a neighborhood business district, and the neighborhood does engage with it and try to be really connected to the business community. And so, if you come, you can eat at places. You can visit the Woodlawn Marketplace, which just opened.
I was just about to mention that.
And the Woodlawn Marketplace it features local vendors, local goods, and you can come in and support that. But then we recently had the investment opening of the Slutty Vegan, which is an Atlanta-based restaurant that is one of the more explosive, nationally growing restaurants owned by an African-American woman in the country, and she's getting talked about. But her first outside of Atlanta store was in Woodlawn that she's done. So there is a lot of momentum there. A lot of momentum there.
The music's really loud in there.
Yeah.
They rock and roll.
It's a party scene there for sure.
I feel compelled to ask about 5 Points South because I know our viewership is concerned that there doesn't seem to be the activity there that once was there in terms of vibrations and the place to be and go to. Is there some work being done or thought about in that area? I'm not asking you to give away any trade secrets. Sure. I just want to talk about it because it's a real issue.
Well, the short answer is yes. And 5 Points South, once upon a time, was the signature and really the only sort of urban entertainment district that we had in Birmingham, and now we have lots of them. Yes. So 5 Points South has to distinguish itself from amongst the many, but it has so many assets going for it. It still has the Frank Stitz restaurants and the other restaurants. It has hotels and a vibrant community of people that really care. So there are a lot of us working on a kind of a refresh strategy for 5 Points South that is gaining some momentum. Probably don't see it yet visibly, but one of my favorite coffee shops, Filter, is there, and Original Pack. There's still a lot to do and see in 5 Points South. What we have to do in 5 Points is the same thing that we have done successfully in downtown over the last several years, like with the CAP program, is provide that clean and safe service that helps people, see and feel like it's a safe environment.
Comfortable. Probably to add to that would be to draw more residents into 5 Points South, because you have Forest Park, mm-hmm. but people have to drive to 5 Points. But in the 5 Points Central, there are not a lot of places to live, I don't think.
Close to, not right. It's still a real mix. There's some older apartment buildings that are there, and there have been some new ones that have opened on the edge of it. And there's some other redevelopment projects that are in planning phases now that, when they're ready to announce, will be very catalytic. So I think that there's a bright future for 5 Points South.
The corner of Highland Avenue and 20th Street, of course, the building is just absolutely architecturally gorgeous. It has just been refurbished. Mm-hmm. Of course, it's empty, but I'm hoping that we get some movement there in the not too distant future.
Indeed.
What can the people out here do to help you do your job?
Well, the first thing is a very soft thing, and that is to be positive. I think we have a tendency in Birmingham to want to see our flaws as more than they are, and I think that we need to be very proud of ourselves. When people come to Birmingham from somewhere else, they are blown away. That's what's in keeping with the whole new branding theme of BHM. Birmingham has more. Birmingham has more than you think, more than you know, more diversity, more food, more economy, all that going on. So we need to sell ourselves to ourselves sometimes, and I think that's important, because I can tell you, in the 30 years that I've done this work, 30 years ago, it was so hard to get anybody to believe anything, and now people are doing things because they just believe. They believe in it. So I think that's one of the main things for Birmingham. But otherwise, reinvest. Don't be afraid to come out. Don't be afraid to come downtown and to try a new restaurant or to try a new retailer. Check out and support those authentic local businesses, because those are the people that are really taking a lot of risk, and they're the people that are really keeping us authentic and keeping us Birmingham.
Yeah, there's constant things going on. One of the things I see going on in Birmingham, and you may not be the right person to ask this question of, but there is a viaduct that has been closed for quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
What's the plan there? Just curious if you know anything about it. 22nd Street.
Well,
I think
it's 21st Street, Richard Arrington Boulevard, the old
yeah.
Rainbow. They call it the Rainbow Bridge because of the Rainbow Division from World War I. It was dedicated for them. And there is not a specific plan. There are plans in the works. We have been working with local property owners in the city there to do a short-term sort of cleanup of it, remove those Jersey barriers, put planters in, make it look more attractive, and so people can walk across it. But the ultimate rebuild strategy is still being figured out.
So, no can drive, maybe walk.
But you can walk, ride your bike, ride a skateboard, whatever.
Get out the Vespa.
That's right.
I'm scared to get on a highway on it. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with us today.
So glad to be here.
You've been very informative, and I trust that everyone in our viewing audience felt the same way. Thanks for being with us this Sunday. This is Our Issues Birmingham. Thank you, David. We'll see you next week.
Put the keys down, Kevin.
But I'm gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
I've taken 25 selfies in the last 10 minutes.
26.
Yep, I'm definitely gonna call a ride home.
When I first saw a turtle, my heart was full. Now I'm anything but lonely.
We have this deep connection, this heart connection.
He just wants to be close to you and part of your life.
Every day with Turtle is a perfect day.
When I'm holding her, it makes me feel calmer.
I think everything he does shows how much he loves us.
When we adopt a shelter pet,
We discover
they're a little bit of a lot of things.
But they're all pure,
Pure love.
love.
I am blind, but I need not see. I know this road is there for me.